The morning air in Pinewood Hills hung heavy with the promise of another sweltering Carolina day. Lawnmowers hummed in the distance, sprinklers clicked rhythmically, and car doors slammed as neighbors hustled off to work. At the corner of Cedar Drive and Elm Lane, a gaggle of kids laughed and shouted, their backpacks bouncing as they waited for the school bus. Among them was 8-year-old Lily Harper, her steps slow but deliberate as she made her way from her front porch to the bus stop. Lily wore custom leg braces, sleek metal and plastic supports that hugged her lower legs, a necessity since birth due to a condition that made walking a challenge. Those braces were her ticket to independence, letting her climb stairs, chase friends at recess, and join the chaos of Pinewood Elementary. They were clunky, sure, but Lily tackled them with a grit that left her parents speechless. Her dad, Trooper James Harper of the State Highway Patrol, stood at the Lee VY room window, coffee mug in hand, watching her small figure-pink backpack swinging reach the stop. His chest tightened with pride, but there was always that quiet hum of worry. The world wasn't always kind to kids like Lily. Pinewood Hills, like every other suburban pocket, had its own homeowners association, run by folks who loved their rules a little too much. The HOA's treasurer, Margaret Voss, was a force of nature. Pushing 60, with a face that seemed locked in a permanent scowl, she treated the HOA budget like a battlefield, slashing anything she deemed wasteful. To her, every penny spent was a personal attack. She'd earned a reputation for hounding neighbors over minor infractions, a mailbox slightly tilted, a hedge an inch too, while her rants at HOA meetings about fiscal discipline were legendary. Lately, Margaret had zeroed in on the bus stop at the end of Lily Street. She'd conned VY and said herself, despite the school district's clear records, that the stop used by Lily and 3 other kids cost the HOA money. At meetings, she'd grumble about special routes and unapproved expenses, her voice dripping with resentment. James had heard the whispers, felt the unease growing. Margaret's gaze seemed to linger on Lily, her braces a VY Cybele symbol of the extras Margaret despised. It wasn't just about money. It was personal, as if Lily's existence challenged Margaret's rigid world VYEW. Years ago, Margaret had faced her own financial ruin after a business failure, begging a bank for mercy only to be told, rules are rules. That rejection had hardened her, turning her into a crusader against exceptions of any kind. That Tuesday morning, as Lily neared the bus stop, Margaret was already there, clipboard in hand, foot tapping like she was counting down a war. The yellow school bus rumbled around the corner, lights flashing, and pulled up with a hiss. Mr. Thompson, the driver, a warm, grandfatherly type with a smile that put kids at ease, called out, "Morning, Lily. Big day ahead? Take it slow on those steps." Lily grinned, adjusted her backpack, and gripped the handrail, lifting her braced leg onto the first step. She was halfway up when Margaret lunged forward, her voice slicing through the air like a blade. "Stop right there. This stop isn't authorized. The HOA won't pay for your special treatment." Before Mr. Thompson could react, before Lily could process the shouting, Margaret reached past him, grabbed Lily's backpack, and yanked hard. Lily's grip on the rail slipped, her balance gone. She stumbled backward, crying out as she fell, her braced leg slamming against the curb with a sickening metallic crunch. Pain shot through her, sharp and searing, as the brace bent inward, useless. Tears streamed down her face, her small voice trembling. "My leg. It hurts." Mr. Thompson leaped from his seat, his face red with fury. "What the hell are you doing? You just attacked a kid." He shoved himself between Lily and Margaret, who stood over the sobbing girl, clutching her clipboard like a shield. "I'm Margaret Voss, HOA treasurer," she snapped, her voice loud enough for the gathering neighbors to hear. "This stop is bleeding us dry. I'm stopping this nonsense now. She needs to find another way to school." Lily's sobs cut through her rant. "You broke my brace. I can't stand up." Mr. Thompson ignored her, grabbing his radio. "Dispatch, this is bus 22, Pinewood Hills, Cedar and Elm. Adult female just assaulted a student boarding my bus. Pulled her off the steps. She's hurt, brace damaged. Need police and maybe EMS now." The call crackled over the patrol frequency, reaching James Harper as he cruised Highway 12, just minutes away. His heart stopped. Assault. His daughter, Margaret Voss. He keyed his mic, voice steady despite the panic clawing at him. Dispatch, Unit 109, Trooper Harper. Responding code 3 to Pinewood Hills, Cedar and Elm. I'm primary. ETA 2 minutes. Siren blaring. He floored it, weaving through traffic, his training keeping him focused while his father's instinct screamed. He screeched to a stop behind the bus, its red lights still flashing. A small crowd of neighbors watched, murmuring. Lily sat on the curb, clutching her leg, tears streaking her face. Mr. Thompson knelt beside her, his voice soft but strained. Margaret stood defiant, clipboard raised like a badge of honor. James ignored her, dropping to his knees beside Lily. Sweetheart, Daddy's here. Where does it hurt? She pointed to her bent brace, whispering. She pulled me off the bus. It's broken, Daddy. It hurts so bad. His jaw clenched as he examined the mangled metal, then looked to Mr. Thompson. Thank you for staying with her. I'm Trooper Harper, Lily's dad. She came out of nowhere, Mr. Thompson said, voice shaking. Started yelling about costs, then grabbed her bag and yanked her off. Landed right on that brace. James stood, forcing calm over the rage boiling inside him, and turned to Margaret. Mom, I'm Trooper Harper. I need to understand what happened here. Margaret puffed up, undeterred. Officer, as HOA treasurer, I was stopping an unauthorized expense. This bus stop is a financial burden on every homeowner. James raised a hand, silencing her. Right now, I'm concerned about an alleged assault on a child. He turned to Mr. Thompson. Does this bus have cameras? Yes, sir, the driver replied. Dash cam and 2 inside, 1 on the aisle, 1 on the stairwell. James nodded. I need the stairwell footage now. Mr. Thompson pulled up the video on a small monitor. The footage was crystal clear. Lily climbing the steps, Margaret's sudden shouting, her arms snaking in, grabbing the backpack, and yanking Lily backward. The fall was brutal, the brace's impact audible. Margaret's voice droned on about costs as Lily cried. James's hands gripped his belt, knuckles white, but his face stayed stone cold. He turned to Margaret, voice low and lethal. Margaret Voss, based on this video, witness statements, and the injury to this child, you're under arrest for felony child abuse. Her face twisted in disbelief. Arrest me? For protecting our funds? This is outrageous. I'm the treasurer. James cuffed her wrists, reciting her rights as she shrieked about lawyers and harassment. Neighbors watched, stunned, as he led her to his patrol car. Paramedics arrived, confirming the brace was wrecked and urging a hospital sit. James called his wife, Sarah, who sped to meet them at the orthopedist's office. The investigation moved fast. Mr. Thompson and neighbors gave statements. The school district confirmed the stop was fully funded, no cost to the HOA. But the bus's SD card, the key, evidence was gone. Mr. Thompson recalled Margaret lingering near the console during the chaos, but there was no proof. Without the video, the case weakened. Margaret faced felony charges, but at her bail hearing, her lawyer pounced on the missing card, painting her as a misguided volunteer. The judge, though appalled, set a high bail, and Margaret, after mortgaging her house, was released on house arrest. The neighborhood erupted. The HOA board, facing furious residents, ousted Margaret and braced for a lawsuit. The Harpers filed a civil suit against her and the HOA, alleging negligence and seeking damages for Lily's braces, medical bills, and trauma. The potential payout threatened to bankrupt the HOA, sparking heated debates over special assessments. Margaret's trial, months later, drew a packed courtroom. Lily testified bravely, her voice steady. James recounted the scene with professional calm. Mr. Thompson's anger was palpable. Experts detailed the brace's damage and Lily's risks. The prosecution built a strong case, but the missing video loomed large. The defense claimed Lily tripped, Margaret acted instinctively, and the accusations were overblown. As the trial neared its end, the prosecutor revealed a bombshell, a cloud backup from the bus's secondary camera system, triggered by Mr. Thompson's radio call. The footage, identical to the original, played for the jury. Margaret's grab, Lily's fall, the braces crunch. Then, Lily's orthopedist and an engineer testified about her smart braces, which logged a violent backward pull and impact, shredding the defense's story. Margaret slumped, defeated. The jury took less than an hour, guilty on all counts. The judge's sentencing was brutal. Margaret Voss, your obsession with control turned you into a danger. You assaulted a vulnerable child and tried 7 years in prison. Her home was sold to cover the Harper's massive CIVYL settlement, which funded Lily's new braces and a trust for her future. The HOA, humbled, settled for millions, revamping its rules to prevent another Margaret. Lily, with her family's love and a reformed community behind her, walked to the bus stop each morning, her steps stronger, her spirit unbroken. James patrolled the highways, haunted but driven by the memory of that day, knowing justice thanks to a cloud server and a tiny sensor had prevailed. In Pinewood Hills, Margaret's name became a warning. Power without heart destroys everything.